Welcome back. Well, new details are emerging on the horror plane crash in South Korea, where officials say 179 people have now been killed. Investigators on the ground believe the aircraft en route from Thailand likely suffered from a landing gear malfunction due to a bird strike.
Amazingly, 2 flight attendants survived the disaster, just 2 people, and the Department of Foreign Affairs has confirmed no Australians were on board. For more information, we're joined by aviation expert Keith Tonkin in our Brisbane studio. Morning to you, Keith. Apparently the pilots are warned that birds were in that area. What do you make of that theory?
Good morning, Eddie. Yeah, we don't really know, other than what's been reported, that the air traffic controllers advised the pilots that there were birds in the area, there was a bird strike risk. Other than that, we don't really know how that eventuated into the vision that we're seeing there of the aircraft landing without its landing gear down. So there's a lot more to find out yet.
Well, Keith, we have seen planes actually land safely despite those gear malfunctions. So what was different here?
Well, it seems as though the pilots have made a very quick decision, and that may have been rushed for some reason, to decide to land without going through the normal process of preparing the aircraft for this landing in a situation where you would normally have landing gear down and configure the aircraft to land to fly at a slower speed. We don't know why that is, and that'll be a really important question to answer.
What is incredible, Keith, is that of all the people on board, 2 crew members survived. I mean, that is quite extraordinary.
Unbelievable. They're obviously very lucky that they were able to be extracted from the aircraft after we've seen the sort of situation it ended up in at the end of the runway as a crumpled mess and on fire. So they are very, very lucky people for sure.
Keith, we know that Boeing's had a bit of a bumpy ride of late. It is one of the most commonly used aircraft. Is there any concern for passengers, do you feel, flying in this particular aircraft?
Yeah, you're right. The 737-800, there are thousands of those aircraft flying around the world every day, including here in Australia. They've been flying for decades, and the system that we fly around in knows the aircraft very well, and we can be very sure that flying in them will be a very safe experience. I
think lots of people flying would be quite concerned about bird strikes, Keith. I don't really hear about that terribly often. How common are they?
Well, we do have bird strikes from time to time. I've personally experienced them. Generally, there may not be any damage at all, or there may be some damage to parts of the aircraft or wings or fuselage or engines, but they're always recoverable, other than the one-off examples like we can recall of the A320 landing on the Hudson River some years ago. So generally, you'd expect to be able to land safely from that sort of incident.
Well, Keith, what was it like when you were in a craft that was struck by a bird? What do you feel? What's going on?
Well, you just feel a bang, some sort of thing that's hit the aircraft, and you may have seen something just before that happened, or you may not have, and often you might find feathers or bits of the bird struck all over the fuselage or the wing or the nose of the aircraft.
Yeah, very little warning, because they didn't have any of the sort of safety precautions they'd normally have on the ground to prevent something like this happening. So now they've recovered the black box. No doubt we'll hear more. Keith, thank you for sharing your insights and expertise with us this morning. We really appreciate it.